Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel. My name is Chris, and I am here with my starting 11 prediction for the upcoming huge game at St James's Park as Newcastle United welcome Mikel Arteta's Arsenal side as they look to overcome a 2-0 deficit in hopes of stealing a trip to Wembley away from us. Another final for Newcastle United, but it's up to the lads, it's up to Eddie Howe to stop that from happening. The ball is firmly in our court, and just a few weeks ago, we were all in absolute dreamland, securing a 2-0 victory at the Emirates. And who would have thought it? We went to the Emirates and we absolutely battered them. Thanks to Alexander Isak and Anthony Gordon. They were the names on the score sheet, but overall, a fantastic team performance. What feels like an absolute lifetime ago. I think it was 4 weeks ago as this game will be played, which is absolutely ridiculous. But like I mentioned, it's in our hands. It's touching distance. But I'm not sure about yourselves, but I'm an absolute bag of nerves after the two recent back-to-back home defeats at St James's Park at the hands of Bournemouth and Fulham there. It's put a big question mark over it and a big shadow over St James's Park, especially on the back of Arsenal's last performance against Manchester City, where they absolutely battered them. But having said that, it's ours. This is ours. They have to take that away from us. As long as we can turn up and do the job on Wednesday night, that's all ours. I think Eddie Howe, he's got a couple of options here. Does he go for it? Does he return back to the 5-5-0, which was so Miggy, run onto the field at the Emirates? And that's what's going to be the deciding factor in regards to the starting 11 prediction, which I'm going to give to you, because I think that Eddie does have a couple of options. If he wants to go and be forward thinking and being fast on the break, then he's got a couple of options. If he wants to be more conservative and basically retain the ball and just slow everything down, he's got a couple of options to go down that route as well. But let's just jump straight into it. Here we go. This is my starting 11 prediction for the second tie in the semi-final for the Carabao Cup. So I think Eddie Howe will stick with his 4-3-3 formation. Starting goal, it's going to be Martin Dubravka. Yes, we do know that Nick Pope has returned to fitness, featuring on the bench there, but I think Martin Dubravka has not done anything to warrant being dropped from that team. I think if you look at the difference between the two keepers, yes, Nick Pope is a fantastic shot stopper, which is what you want your keeper to be, but I don't think Dubravka's not too far behind that. People may disagree with that. I think what Howe witnessed since Dubravka has came in between the sticks is his ability to start play from the back, which is something which we never really got from Nick Pope. I think that is going to be crucial in this one, because I think we're going to probably see Arsenal with a lot of the ball, and I think we don't really want to kick the ball up top for it to come straight back. So I think Dubravka gets the nod. And I think, yes, he did have quite a torrid time last season when he came in, but I think since he has featured in goal this season, he's been great. I think he has. I think he's learned from a lot of things as well. He's very quick off his line these days as well. So yeah, Dubravka goes in goal for me. Moving over to the right back position. A lot of fans have been mentioning the likes of the possibility of Trippier coming back into the team there. I think there's a couple of question marks about Tino and his fitness and if he's going to be okay for this game. But I think Eddie Howe will go for Tino on this one. I know the likes of Trips does have that leadership quality. He's a big game player. He's got that big game experience. He's been in Euro finals. He's been in Champions League finals. He's been in Cup finals before. So yes, he does have that experience. But once again, we'll go back to how Eddie Howe is going to approach this one. Is he going to go for the more defensive outlook on this? And Trippier would probably be crucial in that, and you probably would bring him in. But I think the likes of Tino's presence and his ability to transition with the ball and get us up the field, and the partnership that he has with Jacob Murphy could be great in this one, especially on the counter attack. So for me, I think Tino will get the nod. That's albeit if he is fit. We don't know yet. I think he should be okay, but I think Tino will come in, and that's solely for the fact of we need to get that ball up the field quickly, and Tino's a player to do that for me. So yeah, Tino gets the nod ahead of Trippier for me. But let us know what you think. If you think the other way, if you think Trips, then yeah, give us a shout, leave a comment. Moving across to the centre back positions. Once again, there's a question over this one. We saw Botman feature in the first tie of this one, the first leg. But having said that, I think Fabian Shaw will probably keep his spot here. He did make a mistake a couple of weekends ago against Southampton, which we did concede a goal albeit it was ruled off and disallowed by VAR, but was a lapse of judgment from Fabian on that one. But I've got all faith in Fabian. I really like Fabian as a player. He has the ability that a lot of defenders don't have in regards to scoring goals and pinging balls across the field. I know that didn't work against Fulham. There's a couple of them which were under hit. I'm saying Fabian. I'm not 100% set on this one. That's just my opinion. I'm a big fan of Sven Botman, and Eddie Howe does have the possibility of starting Botman, but I think he will go for Fabian. And that's just down to the partnership that he has with Dan Burn to the side of him as well. So I might be completely wrong. Once again, if you disagree, let us know. I wouldn't be shocked if Botman does come in. Of course, I wouldn't. And I wouldn't be angry because I'm a huge Botman fan. But I think on this one, you'll stick with the partnership of Fabian Shaw, then obviously moving over to Dan Burn. That we'll get on to now. Dan Burn's aerial presence has to be so important in this one. We know how good Arsenal can be from set pieces, corners, free kicks coming in and being delivered into the box as well. So that aerial presence is going to be, like I said, so important. We saw in the last game at the Emirates as well, Dan Burn was throwing his body on the line throughout that game, and he will literally do everything to get Newcastle over the line and get us in that cup final. So I think Dan Burn keeps his spot. Anthony Gordon's already came out earlier in the season and said if he had to pick right now who his player of the season would be, it would be Dan Burn as well. And it's an absolute no-brainer for me. Like that partnership sticks with Dan Burn and Fabian Shaw. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Botman comes in. Moving over to the left-hand side, it's going to be Lewis Hall. He's had a great season so far. Once again, I think I'm going to look at the more attacking options that we have on the flanks with the wide men, the full-back positions. You've got it on the right-hand side with Tino, able to drive and run with the ball. You have exactly the same with Lewis Hall as well, and the overlaps which he creates with Anthony Gordon, to the point where all of us in St. James's Park we're scratching our heads and we can't figure out who's who at certain points as well throughout the game. So I think that link-up play with Gordon is crucial in this one. Very important. Once again, I'm going to keep on saying this throughout the video, but I'm expecting Arsenal to come for this. They're going to go for it, and they have to. They've got to score 2 goals. They have to. Maybe even more if we get on the score sheet. So I think it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for us to hit on the counter-attack. Lewis Hall. I don't think there's any disagreement. Of course, there's nobody else that can come in, so it's going to be Lewis Hall as our left-back option. Going into midfield, the midfield trio, is it going to be the same trio? Let's have a look. So Bruno is always going to keep his spot. Bruno is club captain, so he continues to be that creative hub in the middle of the field. He's got the ability to break up play and slow play right down. I think the likes of the tempo goes through Bruno at times as well, and he controls that. We know that he does have that ability to win free kicks as well and slow the game right down when needed. I think, once again, that's going to be important in this game. I think it's going to be vital. I think there might be times where one might just have to go, whoa, let's just stop a second, let's just bring it down. And I think Bruno will be the player to do that. Moving over to the partnership in midfield that he has, it's going to be Sandro Tonali as that duo as well. Sandro, we're talking about technical players, and second to none, he's absolutely fantastic. He seems like an absolute magnet when it comes to that football at the moment, and he just always seems to be in the right place at the right time. And that's involved in both defensively and mopping up certain things and errors which other players have made. Tonali always seems to be in the right place. So he made an error against Fulham under hit that pass, which was to Murphy, which the intercepted Fulham went on to score from that. But I think what you get with Tonali, you get his vision, you get his passing range. We all know that he knows where the back of the net is as well. Very lucky not to score at the weekend as well against Fulham after he absolutely rattled the crossbar towards the Gallagher as well. So I'm expecting a big game for Sandro as well. I think we're all hopeful that he will do that, and he will continue to keep that run of form as well, because he's been absolutely fantastic since he's came back in to that midfield setup as well. Which leads us to I keep mentioning trio. Is that trio going to contain Joelinton? We don't know. He did go down to London to see a specialist because of the injury that he picked up against Fulham. Spotted with the biggest leg brace you have ever seen just a couple of days ago. But apparently it was just as a precaution. Joelinton could still feature in this game if he is declared fit. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the possibilities if Joe can't be in that starting 11. Might be on the bench, don't know. Might start, don't know. But let's just look at the other options which we have. I said at the start of the video that Eddie could go one of two ways. He could go defensively. He could be proactive. He could be positive in his thinking and look at forward play and take the game to Arsenal, which will end up like an absolute basketball game. But the latter and defensive approach is quite a dangerous game to play as well, especially if we concede a goal. But let's look at the options. If you go for the attacking option, just to start with that one, you've got the likes of Joe Willock. He's a very dynamic player and would know that he can carry the ball and get us up the field if needed. And once again, which I said I was going to mention it a few times, counter-attacking player. Joe Willock is that player that you probably want on the field. Hasn't had a great time this season, albeit a lot of those performances, most of the performances have came from the bench as well. So I'm not too sure. I think this all depends on how we approach a game, like I mentioned. But if we are looking at this and going for the game and we're going for that all-important first goal, then it probably will be Joe Willock. If not, if we're looking at the defensive side of things, you're looking at Sean Longstaff, and I know a lot of people will be jumping on us at this point because, oh, Lord, Sean Longstaff, can't get him in the team. We'll definitely lose the game. Well, just put that to one side for a second. Just put your thoughts of Longstaff to one side. But I think you've got to agree that Sean Longstaff is probably one of the most hard-working players in that team, and he does a lot of the dirty work, which goes unnoticed. And his defensive work and splitting up the play and basically stopping any sort of creativity that Arsenal may create could work for us in this game alongside Tonali, because we know Tonali's very good at doing that as well. You're going to get a more defensive approach from Longstaff, and with a 2-0 lead, with just 90 minutes on the clock, if everything stays as it is, then Longstaff probably is that option that you probably go with. That's the option that I'm going to go with for this video, is Sean Longstaff, which gives you the opportunity if things don't go right and if we do need to get a goal at some point, you've got the option of bringing Joe Willock off the bench as well. So yeah, I'm going to go with Sean Longstaff on that one. Yes, you do have the possibility to bring in the likes of Lewis Miley in there. I don't think he will start. A lot of people may disagree, but I don't think Miley will start. But I think we will see him feature at some point throughout the game. Miley, I'm a huge fan of Miley, but just not on this one. I think it will be the option if Joe Linton is injured. It will be basically a decision between Joe Willock and Sean Longstaff. Moving over to the right-hand side, you've got Jacob Murphy. Jacob Murphy, we all know he's an informed player at the moment. The partnership that he has with Alexander Isak is blossom at the moment. It really has blossomed, and the assists for Isak keep on coming from Jacob Murphy. So it's an absolute no-brainer. There's not any other option, to be honest with you, really. We're sold at Almiron, so he's out the door. So he is the only option on that right-hand side, really, especially with the injury to Harvey Barnes. He scored at the weekend. It was his 200th game for the club, I believe. So he did get on the score sheet. Once again, the partnership that he has with Tino as well in transition play is going to be great in this one. Fingers crossed. But yeah, Jacob Murphy starts on the right-hand side. Didn't end the game very well against Fulham, but not many players did. So we'll not feature too much on that one. Because I've just mentioned Isak and the partnership that he has, I'm going to move over to Isak. So Isak, of course, he's going to be our striker there because he's literally the greatest striker the world has ever seen. Yes, likes of his pace, his movement, his technical ability. Once again, he's going to be a constant threat for Arsenal. He was in the first leg of this one. So particularly in the counter attack as well. I'm going to keep on saying a counter attack is so important in that one. So I think Isak, he will look at exploiting that space in the Arsenal defence. They play a very high line, so you're expecting that from Isak. He's got the possibility of creating a goal from nothing himself. Sometimes he drops on that left-hand side. He brings other players into the mix as well. So Alexander Isak, let's fingers crossed he has a huge game for us and gets on the score sheet once again. Which just leaves that one position, which is left on the left-hand side. So, of course, it's going to be Anthony Gordon. Once again, there's no other option, but there doesn't need to be because Anthony Gordon is a fantastic footballer. Of course he is. He's had a bit of an up-and-down season so far. Wasn't a great performance against Fulham, but whatever, we'll just put that to one side. He has had a great run out so far. His pace, his dribbling ability, the ability to cut inside as well. I think we'll probably see that more against Arsenal. That ability to where, like I said, he gets on the left-hand flank, cuts inside and takes a shot. We'll see him have at least one each game, and he scored a fair few from that. I mentioned it earlier on in the recording as well. The partnership that he has with Lewis Hall as well, that overlap as well, it's going to be great. I'm hoping the likes of Gordon and Murphy have good games and great games, because I think it's going to be crucial down to those flanks really. But yeah, that's my starting 11. So just to summarize why I've gone through those, I'm going to start with the defense. So just let's go right to the back. So back line, like I mentioned, you've got Tino, Fabian Shaw, Byrne, and Hall coming into play. Great balance. I think you've got that mix of the attack and threat with the wide men and the fullbacks. You've got that aerial presence with Dan Byrne and Shaw. You've got Shaw's abilities to basically pick out passes as well if he is on his game as well. So yeah, I think it's a nice little mix that we've got there. Moving into midfield, once again, you're going to get balance between that if he does go with Longstaff on that one. So like I mentioned, you've got the trio there of Bruno, Tonali, and Longstaff. If we're looking at what you're getting from that, you're getting creativity, you're getting the defensive work from Longstaff, physicality to a certain degree as well with Longstaff being on there. Obviously, you can't replace Joe Linton for that, but I think Longstaff does offer that a little bit as well. I think he will provide that energy to cover every blade of grass on the field of St. James's Park as well. You've got Tonali. We don't need to talk about Tonali because he's just fantastic. The same with Bruno as well. You know what you're going to get. That creativity comes from those two players. Just to jump back to the two wide men, I think what we need from these two is high intensity to their game in this one. We need that closing down of the opposition, which was saw at the Emirates as well. They were great at closing players down throughout the whole team were, to be honest with you. So I think that's what we need. I mentioned the partnership that not just Murphy, but they both have really with Isaac up top as well. So yeah, let's hope that all continues. Just to finish on Isaac as well, because I mentioned that he's the greatest striker in the world. He is. He's fantastic. He scored, like I said, and did the reverse fixture when we've gone 2-0 up, and he's key to Newcastle United. Without Isaac on the field, we're probably not scoring many goals, and I think he will, just like he did in the first game, that he will cause some issues. He will get opportunities. I think a lot of players will get opportunities in this one because there will be some space created from Arsenal as they look at pressing high. There's going to be a lot of doors open for us to get on the score sheet. So fingers crossed we can take those moments. We saw Arsenal didn't do it in the first leg. They'd done everything but score. They were creating the opportunities, but they just couldn't finish the dinner that night. So hopefully that's not the same for us. I think if I'm going to give my score prediction on this one, just to wrap the video up, I am going to go for a 1-1 draw, which puts us to Wembley. I think it'll be a very, very nervy game. I think that first goal is so important, not just for how the game will go, but for the atmosphere in the ground as well. And we do have war flags, asking people to bring their scarves along as well. So grab your scarf, get on down to St. James's Park. We need that 12th man in that stadium as well. So the lads need us on Wednesday night. We need them to do a job as well. So let's all stick together as we look at securing that place at Wembley in the final of the League Cup. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm worried. I'm buzzing that I need it to be full time. I want it to be full time. I need to know the future, what we are doing. But yeah, fingers crossed. It's going to be a great night for everybody. How are the lads?